As the flow of screening, I always start with VA, in which a letter pointer is assigned to help guide the test. The doctor can help cover the child's eye or can delegate the task to another helper, given he or she needs to know the task well. And the doctor could observe a few times to decide if the helper is competent enough to be independent from you for the moment. Let's look at the setup a little bit. Usually a big table could be used, or a small table, just enough so that the doctor can have a place to write things, to write the result, plus to a place where the doctors can place the forms. According to this paper, another person is sharing the same table on this side, and that's the nurse who's doing the color test screening. And I probably didn't mention earlier, but the color test is usually done on boys only, not girls. So at the start, that's, if you look at, assuming this is the entry to the room, the kids will be lining up on this side, and the boys and girls can be divided into two rows. The boys can come over to this side to get the color test done, and afterward they can line up to do the vision test. And this is usually where the projector is, and if you can look over here, can you see it? Okay. Now this is what we use for the LEA symbol, and it's a light box, so you can actually switch it on. And also, since we're here, just kind of give you, if you happen to get this kid, every kids are slightly different. This is an older kid, and we actually block off the part that's not important. So and that's a 2030 supposedly. So if you go above that, that's 2040, and that's perfect for screening the kindergartners. Whereas if you go below it, it's 2025 to be used for older kids like third graders or fifth grader usually. And also the distance to the chart, even though we still use 2020 distance, but technically this is measured off of 10 feet distance. A ruler is provided inside the equipment, so you can use that to measure the distance from the surface of the kid to where the student would be standing. And if you go back to the chart, that's pretty much right next to where you are. Okay. And there's a caveat for the VA testing. As you know, sometimes you might be screening over 100 kids in a day span, and oftentimes, depending on the school hours, you might not. Some kids stay for only half a day in school. They won't be there for the whole day to allow you to screen them. But usually, the task at hand needs to be finished in one day setting, because they're usually not. You won't be given another day to come back and screen for the same school. So in order to facilitate the process, we recommend that you jump right to, for instance, for kindergartner, you go right to the 2040 letter or the symbol size instead of going through the whole thing. You can start by using, sometimes if you were to screen kids of that the English it's their second language, you can have them practice by using something like this. And we provide that in each individual equipment. And kids can be creative about what they call individual symbols as. This one's circle is pretty obvious. A square, that's a house. Or I've heard pentagon for some more advanced children. This one can be either apple or tooth, or anything else. As long as they make sense, then you can let them pass. And as I mentioned, that usually the doctor would have to help covering the eye to make sure that they're not cheating and the doctor can listen in. So, and usually if you go back to the form, that's where the doctor is sitting, and the kid is standing next to you looking down on the other side of the room into the screen. And you can cover their eye as long, and the criteria is 3 out of the 5 symbols to pass. So typically you can go through, have the pointer do 3 of them. If they pass all 3 of them, that's good enough. Have them switch the other side and then do another 3. Of course, if they fail them all, then they automatically fail for the grade level. test, so that was for the VA, and the second one we do screening, obviously, it's for boys only, and this is the color part of the color test that we have to do. Unlike the Ishihara plates that we normally use in the clinic, we have a more, kind of a easier or simplified version for children. They have to say outright what they see. Usually you gotta, if you guys can see that, this is a dog, or if they say cat, that's fine. And there are only 3 for them to pass. They can call this a circle with a string or a balloon or flower even, as long as it makes sense. And this part is usually done by the school nurse or health aide. And as I mentioned earlier, this part can only be done with boys, and you can delegate this task easily to other helpers in the room. The third